Welcome to the fascinating world of Vedas, undisputedly the oldest written literary and philosophical text in the world. From the mundane to the intellectual, the Vedas are packed with incomparable insights into virtually every aspect of life. Compiled over several centuries, the Vedas leave no aspect of the human condition untouched. Above all, they give us a ringside view of the people, the society, and the culture of those times. And helping us understand the intricacies of these ancient texts is Dr. G Ramakrishna, renowned professor of English and distinguished scholar of Sanskrit and Vedic literature.
And therefore, in the Almirah of books chronologically arranged, if there be any, of human making, the first place will always belong to the Rig Veda.
Graduating from the University of Mysore, Dr. G. Ramakrishna obtained his Masters in English Literature from the University of Wales, United Kingdom. On his return to India, he joined the prestigious National College in Bangalore as Professor of English Literature. In his long and illustrious career at this venerated institution, Dr. G. Ramakrishna earned the love and respect of students not only as an excellent teacher, but also as a friend, philosopher, and guide. A prolific writer, Dr. G. Ramakrishna has authored several books on the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, and other Puranic texts. A man of many parts, Dr. G. Ramakrishna is an accomplished exponent of yoga, has a keen ear for music, is an avid trekker, and an inveterate globetrotter. And so, dear viewers, here is Dr. G. Ramakrishna in his own words. In this episode, Dr. G. Ramakrishna draws our attention to the way in which the Rig Veda deals with death. The Rig Veda develops no particular philosophy in the context of death. It exhorts us to live life to the full, in a righteous way, fulfilling all our worldly obligations. Since death is inevitable, face it with equanimity. Do not cling to life hoping for immortality. The important thing to remember is that there is no mention of Moksha or rebirth or the concept of uniting with Brahman in the Rig Veda. All it talks of is to worship our ancestors and look forward to joining them when our time comes. Another important point to note is that the Rig Veda attaches no taboos to widowhood. Denigration of widows is not sanctioned by the Rig Veda.
Well, welcome back again. And we had been discussing something about the nature of mystery and the way in which mystery haunts the Rigvedic poets. One challenge that they constantly faced was the never-ending dilemma regarding how to understand nature. One challenge was the never-ending quest. Also, there is this initiation to profound knowledge. Because each time you address a question in the context of nature, there is something new unraveling itself. One of the phenomena that has been and is now causing a lot of anxiety and fear sometimes and hopes always is the phenomenon of death, which is almost irresolvable, the dilemma, the fear and so on. See, in the Rig Veda we have seen how they had been discussing aspects concerning good and evil, love between man and woman, regularity in the world of nature, and so on. There is one hymn addressed to Ratri, that is night. says, "O goddess, ensure that I see the morning again." This is from one of the hymns of the Rig Veda itself. Darkness is a haunting phenomenon. There was no electricity during the Vedic times, although according to some childish pseudoscientists who have enthusiastically discovered interplanetary travel in the Rig Veda, in spite of all their enthusiasm, it must be admitted that darkness was one of the most fearsome phenomena in the world of nature for them. Therefore, you have hymns in which they pray to some of the deities to ward off the wolves and the thieves. Interesting that they had to worry about thieves also during the Vedic period. And the poet says, "Be easy for us to survive. Yavaya vrikam yavayastena murve athanas sutaram bhava." So that it becomes easy for us to pass. That is the aspiration. How did they react to death, therefore, is a question which needs to be looked into. Death has attracted the attention of multiples of poets throughout the world. We are all familiar with one of the sonnets of John Donne, "Death, be not proud," towards the end of which sonnet he says, "Death, thou shalt die," because he is going to be liberated, and on the day of judgment he will receive what is due to him, and hopefully everything will work out very smoothly and happily for him. Whether it was a hope that really had penetrated deeply into his consciousness, or whether he was pretending to be facing death very bravely, you never know. But the fact remains that death is one of the phenomena that has attracted the attention of the poets throughout the world, and they have reacted to it with different perspectives. In this context, some of the hymns in the Rig Veda addressed to the Pitrus or the ancestors will be useful for us to understand the Rig Vedic mind. You know that there is in the Mahabharata this question about how to face death. And why is it that man clings to life so persistently? Kimascharya matah param is one of the expressions we find in the Mahabharata. Man sees this happening day in and day out. People, his dear ones, near ones, passing away, and still he believes that he is going to be almost immortal, that he is going to remain here for ages to come. We cling to life and long for life, wealth, everything that you think is comfortable for. This is what is referred to as abhinivesha in the field of yoga, that is clinging to life instead of renunciation. The point to note is that the Rig Veda develops no philosophy in the context of death. It's only later on that we have developed certain ideas about moksha and rebirth and things of that kind, none of which is possible to be proved, as everyone knows. In any case, fear, doubt, longing, hope, all these are articulated in the Rig Veda on different occasions, and particularly so in the hymns addressed to the ancestors. And the poets' certainty is that the ancestors shall lead them and protect them. So nothing to fear. See, in the Bhagavad Gita, for example, you have the statement that everyone who is born must die. That's a statement well made, and no controversy about that. Although some of our so-called postmodernists may even doubt that. That apart. What the Gita does is to juxtapose another statement immediately after this. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityuhu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. As sure as man is going to die, equally sure is it that he will come back to life. There is rebirth, in other words, for which there is no evidence. In spite of the belief of people in different countries over the centuries, it is admitted that there is no evidence to any rebirth. In any case, Rig Veda does not go along those lines. That is the important thing to remember. Rig Veda speaks neither of moksha nor of rebirth. In the 10th mandala, mandala is one, let us say, first book, second book, 10th book of the Rig Veda, we have 5 hymns exclusively devoted to the ancestors, and they are reflections in the context of death. Ancestors are what are referred to there as Pitrus. Well, we know that ancestor worship is a part of all cultures in the world. If you go to the Golden Bow, you will see how every culture, every civilization has dabbled with this question of death. The hymns in the Rig Veda connected with the ancestors are in praise of Yama, supposed to be the god of death, and then the ancestors themselves, the Pitrus, and then Agni, Vishwadevas. Vishwadevas is all gods put together. Agni, of course, is one of the foremost among the deities of the Rig Veda. Even as early as in the Rig Veda, Yama is clearly already the god of death. We have earlier referred to the dialogue between Yama and Yami, brother and sister. There, of course, Yama is not so much the god of death as a person who is accosted by his sister for certain things that she desires. Rig Veda mentions the Yama as one who traverses everywhere, meaning thereby that there is none who is free from the attack of the god of death. The ultimate pasture is ready for everyone. This is what the Rig Veda itself says. This pasture here is the world we live in. But everyone has the ultimate pasture made ready for him. Gavyuti it is called in the Rig Veda. Pitrus have already gone there. Ancestors have already gone and occupied this region. And all that mankind does is to go in the path of the ancestors and reach them and be with them, just as you used to be with them when they were here in your midst. Prehi prehi pathibihi purvebhihi. Purvebhihi is those who have gone by, your predecessors. So you go and join them. This is the most rudimentary reflection that we find in the Rig Veda about death. Of course, in the Rig Veda, Varuna is the supreme deity and he is considered to be keeping watch even on Yama. But the Rig Veda says, leave your evil deeds behind and go. Hitvaya avadyam punarastamehi. Why should they not take all these evil deeds with them? One does not know. Perhaps ancestors' place is not the right one to carry your evil deeds to. There is also Yama's dog with 4 eyes. And the prayer is made in the Rig Veda to hand over us to him for conducting us further. So this dog of Yama is waiting there to receive all the dead and then conduct them to the place where the ancestors have been. The 15th hymn of the 10th book of the Rig Veda, from which many verses are taken for the death rituals, even now, those 4 or 5 hymns give us some fair idea of how they interact with death itself. First and foremost, they are there to invite the ancestors to partake of the gifts and food offered to them. So the first thing is that you offer libations to the gods now, but the Rigvedic Aryans perhaps first offered their salutations to the ancestors and then some gifts and food for them. The ancestors' lives were precious when they were here. Why was it precious? Because they followed the path of Rita, which we have discussed earlier. And when once you have followed the path of Rita, your future is assured. Asum ye iyuhu avrikaha ritajnaha. See once again how Rita is the predominant idea of ethics and orderliness in life. And the Rigvedic poet also pleads with the ancestors not to punish them for their failings. So it is the prerogative not only of the gods and goddesses but also of the ancestors to forgive the failings of the people left behind. Ma himsishta pitaraha kena chinnaha yadvo agaha purushato karama. This is from the 15th hymn of the 10th mandala. The hope is expressed that the dead will go and have another body when they enter the world of the Pitrus. Apparently, the wish for rebirth is indirectly mentioned, although there is nothing emphatic about rebirth being a certainty. There are 2 or 3 interesting observations that we can make in the context of these hymns addressed to the ancestors. The first element is amazement, perplexity. You are here now and next moment maybe you are out. The young should not pass away before others do. You see, this longing is expressed. That the young ones should have some life for themselves before they exit. This is one hope constantly expressed in the Rig Veda. The second one You see how there is this denigration of widowhood through the centuries in the Indian cultural context. Somehow it is, there are so many taboos attached to the life of the widows that it has become miserable for them. Denigrating widowhood and reducing widows to an unbearable humility in life. For centuries we have seen, but Rig Veda is free from that blemish. They do not condemn the widows or consider them inauspicious or anything. It is scandalous to aware that Veda has sanctioned this kind of a thing, namely denigration of widowhood. Rig Veda does not denigrate widowhood. It's a very important point in the cultural context. So it is scandalous to aver that Veda has sanctioned it. Like Orthodox tradition has always instituted. All our practices are sanctioned by the Veda. Denigration of widowhood is not sanctioned by the Veda. Because for them, you see, after all, death is inevitable. And how is a woman to blame if she is a widow? So there is no point in saying that no auspicious work should be done by her and so on. The Dharmashastras, which profess to follow the Vedic injunction, because you see they keep constantly saying that Vedas are their authority for whatever laws they make. The Dharma Sutras, they say, Dharmajna Samayaha Pramanam. The convention followed by those who know law, that is the prescribed path for us. The other source is the Veda. Whatever Vedic injunction is there, well, you must honor it as righteousness. So those who know righteousness, they are an authority. And the Vedas. But you know how in many of our texts of the Dharma Shastra field are replete with references to the inauspiciousness of widowhood. Rig Veda, on the contrary, says, Ima nari ravidhavaha supatnihi anjanena sarpisha samvishantu anashravaha anamivaha suratnaha ayo hantu janayo yonimagre. The word yoni in the Rig Veda is used in the sense of abode. So whatever abode they have here, the original place of habitation, let them go back to that place of habitation. Not segregate them from society and say you go and live in the forest or something. On the other hand, the Rig Veda says to the widow, you be the first to enter your abode. Go back to the house. No taboos of any kind. Another hymn of the Rig Veda, the 18th hymn in book 10, says, come on, somebody is dead and she is now a widow. Return to your earlier life. Return to your earlier life. Means you lead your normal life as you did when your husband was alive. Maybe your husband is lifeless, but that does not mean that you cannot go and stay at the same place where you lived with your husband. Stay with him was one part of your life. Now that he is no longer there, you know he loved you and he led you. So cherish those days. May your memory be filled with all those episodes of happiness. And continue your life. It's not something like saying you must resign and you must stay away and you are less than normal. Because the understanding is that death is inevitable. And therefore, on that score, you need not denigrate life. Simply because death is inevitable, we need not go on saying that life is a miserable thing and so on. You love life, although it is arduous. It is arduous. In later texts of different varieties in our cultural tradition, we have such stanzas like samsara sagaram ghoram anantam klesha bhajanam. So, emancipate yourself, because this world is miserable, you have so many problems to face, and the best thing therefore is to put an end to all that by not coming back again. So you must achieve moksha or join Brahman. Nothing of that kind in the Rig Veda. This is the point that needs to be understood. The lady is asked to simply go and join the ancestors when her time comes. Right now her husband is joining the ancestors, and she is to go back to her own house. There is no reference whatsoever to anything called emancipation, liberation, moksha in the Rig Veda. They speak very virulently about life, the love for life, the struggle for existence. But they don't say that we must achieve moksha, because they do not believe in anything like rebirth. The dead goes to the ancestors, that's all. Definitely there is no Brahman with which they can go and unite. Brahman is the discovery of a much later period. In the Rig Veda there is no Brahman in whom you go and merge. And in the Rig Veda, Mother Earth is besieged to take care of the dead. This is the attitude towards death. Our Rig Vedic poets looked forward even to eating horse's flesh. Their love of life included not just existence, making love and fighting enemies, whatever their tribal culture was. But they had other preoccupations. Death was a haunting phenomenon, but they did not think that there was anything like emancipation from life and so on, much less rebirth.